Hello, this is Kevin Crane coming to you for Eclipse Corporation. If you are a programmer, analyst, or IT professional, you won't want to miss this video.
Thank you for joining us for Static versus Dynamic Forms Part 4. In this video, we'll go over advanced dynamic features including allow break before and after, and layout in multiple columns. Now let's take a look at another form so we can see an example of when you would use the allow break before, allow break after, as well as layout in multiple columns. This is more of an advanced pane feature and can be easily understood using this example. We'll walk through it being used properly and then what happens when we turn the options off. So starting at the top of the page, we have a full header which includes the patient's information and some chief complaints, present illness, and so forth. But down at the bottom of the form, there's something called cardiac diagnosis, non-cardiac diagnosis, and cardiac procedures. These are wrapped in a parent pane with 6 child panes. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that. A header and a detail. Header, detail, header, detail. Now all of the headers are required, and all of the details are allowed to repeat multiple times. In addition, the parent pane has a checkbox marked to layout in multiple columns. And since the child panes are defined as 4 inches and wrapped in a pane that is defined as layout in multiple columns, this will simply lay out in as many columns as can fit in the width, evening and balancing each side. So if I have 9 inches of information, it will become 2 columns in 4.5 inch columns in height. So to understand the allow break before and after, we want to look at the paired headers and details. So if we look at the header, the allow break before is on because it's okay for this header to be on its own on a new page or in a new column. But it's not okay for this detail to be broken apart from its header. So if you look at the header, it's not allowed to break after, and if you look at the detail, it is not allowed to break before. So this is set up properly. So let's take a look at what it would look like in the PDF. As you can see, the 6 panes were wrapped across the page of the 8-inch container into 2 4-inch columns. Also, the first column is made up of all cardiac diagnosis, and one detail was carried over to the right side and a header was inserted. This is because cardiac diagnosis was defined as a header for that detail. Now let's run that one more time with different data where the first column has a little space to fit just the header of the second column, but it won't do it. It'll go ahead and pull it to the second column. So here you can see the cardiac diagnosis and the non-cardiac diagnosis. Now we know that the non-cardiac diagnosis had plenty of room to fit in the first column, but it was pulled over to the second column. Now let's go ahead and basically break the design. So here I'm going to select my headers, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on allow break after. And I'm going to select my details, and I'm going to let it break before. I'm going to run the same data, and here is our results. So we never want a header to be by itself at the bottom of a column or a page. Now let's go back to the design and look at that in another situation. In this section called Next Visit Header, you can see here there's a header called Plans, and then Plans and Recommendations is the detail for that section. Now we've indicated here to allow break after, which you really don't want. And we've allowed this detail to break before. So if we go ahead and run with our F5 key, our PDF preview, you can see at the bottom of page 2, we have a Plans header, and then we have a Plans and Recommendations detail. Going back to the design, simply by turning off allow break after, and on the detail turning off allow break before, if we run the same data again by hitting the F5 key, we do not have a plans header on the bottom of the second page, but only on the top of the third page. So that's the concept of allowing a break before and after. Now for our final demonstration of our advanced features of panes, specifically referring to the allow break before, allow break after, and layout in multiple columns, we want to see what we would do to break this area up into 3 columns. I know the area or the parent pane is 8.5 inches. If I define the child panes as 2.75 inches, they should fit. So let's go ahead and set that up. In order to make the panes 2.75 inches, we need to go ahead and set the objects within it to be the same. This needs to be 1.8 inches. So now if I go ahead and select all of the panes, 6 specifically, the child panes of the column, I'm going to put 2.75 inches, and now we're ready to test. So I'm going to go ahead and save as 3 columns, and test with the same data we've been using. Now zooming in, it automatically sets up the columns into 3 columns evenly divided in the parent pane. Again, since we've defined these headers as mandatory, they always appear. In addition, we've also defined each detail with a header specific to that detail. In this case, DX detail has a parent detail of DX header. Likewise, the non-DX detail has a parent header of a non-DX header. And that is why we get the cardiac diagnosis pulled to the second column for this last detail item.
Want to find out more? Just go to eclipsecorp.us and check out our other videos. That's eclipsecorp.us. Or call us at area code 678-408-1245, extension 2. That's 678-408-1245, eclipsecorp.us.